hi everyone, Scott Stalker here. Today I want to talk about 6 habits that if you implement these will take you from novice to pro. Let's get started with the first one here, which is mastering time blocking. If you've ever met anyone who's successful as an executive, a business owner, you'll find that rarely do they respond instantly to events. They master time blocking, meaning all of the important events that they have for that day, for that week, maybe even for that month are put on their calendar. And so the first thing you need to do if you want to go from novice to pro is master the art, master the science of time blocking. Seasoned executives fully understand the importance of consistency and discipline. Discipline in their schedule, in their calendar, in their daily battle rhythm, in what they have to do and what they can delegate to others to do. But if you're going to master the art of time blocking, you really got to master the art of discipline in your calendar, not just writing everything down on a to-do list and checking it off, but it's got to be on the calendar, visible in the evening as you do your preparation, like I've talked about before. It's there. You start going through your calendar, you know exactly what you have to do that day and you're set and ready. That could also include, what outfits you have to have ready, virtual engagements, physical engagements, you name it. But it's all done because you've mastered the art of time blocking. If you show me a senior executive who has mastered the art of time blocking, I'll show you someone who is successful in their business. More often than not, anyone that time blocks is going to be successful at what they do because they hold to a rigorous schedule. There's always a little bit of white space in there for emergencies and pop-ups, but they're disciplined with their calendar and they don't allow the noise to chime in and those ankle biter events to chime in. They have other people that can do that for them and they're focused on the priorities. Their calendar hasn't prioritized them. They put the priorities on the calendar. Number 2, you've got to be able to delegate in areas that you don't have expertise in. This makes sense, right? But if you're not a cybersecurity professional, why on earth would you be tackling those challenges? You want to hire or outsource that type of activity and delegate it to them so that you can stay focused on the priorities and the reasons what you're there for, whether that's to run the company, lead your team, take care of your people, whatever the case may be, but you want to make sure that you're delegating. And this is critical. Some of the examples, some of the simple things, right? Administrative work, if you can have an executive assistant or someone like that to do that. Some of the trivial matters such as dry cleaning. You can even get even deeper than this and talk about grocery shopping nowadays where you can just order it, have it delivered for you. But all of those things that take time and don't necessarily require you to be the expert in it, outsource that as best you can, as much as you can, and you're going to find better results and more time for the priorities of your business and your personal life. Number 3, optimize your mental fitness. This requires, again, back to number 1, where you're time blocking, where you leave time for mental fitness, meaning some time to rest. It could be time to read, it can be time to study, but your mental agility is critical here and you want to optimize time for that. All senior executives, everyone that's successful in business has spent time continuing to grow and progress. And if you don't leave time for growth, you're going to stay at a current level and eventually everyone's going to pass you by, right? So keeping time for mental fitness is critical. We know this, that in the boardroom or in the battlefield, your mental fitness, how well you can think and make decisions is critical. And you're not going to get there if you don't leave yourself time to build your mental fitness. So this is why this one here is so important and one of my important ones. That's why I talk about reading all the time and personal development and growth and having a long-term growth mindset, consistently improving, critical here. Some of the basic things that you already know about, I'm going to emphasize here, but it's really critical to stay hydrated, believe it or not. Your brain is going to perform optimally the better hydrated it is. Obviously, when you're out at the club at night or you're at the bar and you're drinking, you're not thinking your best. The opposite of that is being well hydrated, making sure you spend time in your physical fitness, whether it's a walk, whether you're hitting the weights, whatever it is, a swim, you name it, playing sports, something to stay physically active will keep your brain operating at its best. Getting your rest at night, having a balance in life so that you're not just working yourself to death, but you're also getting the proper rest so you can recover and recuperate and wake up refreshed and ready for the next day and performing as best you can. Try to treat yourself like a mental athlete and think of it that way. The more you treat yourself as a professional and a mental athlete and you prioritize this and you make it a rigorous thing on your calendar where every single day, whether you're reading 10 pages a day whether you're reading a chapter, something new, exposing yourself to something different, listening to different podcasts, articles, you name it. But think of yourself as a professional mental athlete. In step number 3, continue to move on and improve and go from novice to a professional. Step number 4, you got to measure your progress. How do you know if you're growing if you haven't measured your success, measure your effectiveness, right? So measurement of success and then measurement of effectiveness. You could be conveying a certain message, but how effective is it? You've got to be able to measure this in order to go from novice to professional. And there's a saying by Stanford professor Jeffrey Pfeffer, and I'm probably getting his name wrong. I apologize for that. It's Pfeffer, challenging last name. However, he talks about you can't be normal and expect abnormal returns. So measuring effectiveness, measuring your performance, measuring things that you're doing, seeing where you're not performing well and coming up with a plan to improve, seeing where you're performing well, being proud of that performance and also trying to improve there as well. But if you're not measuring it, it's hard to go from amateur to professional, from novice to executive, from employee to owner. Whatever the case may be that you're looking at, you've got to measure it in step number 4. Number 5, this one here is important to me, one that I've seen people talk about before, but build a personal board of directors. What do I mean by that? Well, behind every great professional, we have coaches and mentors. And I have found whether I'm a teacher, whether I have a coach, whether I have a mentor, and I have, quite frankly, multiple of all of those. But the coach is going to be focused on the future and focused on the now and how do I improve? What's the long-term plan to both personally and professionally improve? Unlike, say, for example, if you're seeing a psychiatrist or a mental health professional, in many ways, they're looking back and trying to solve some of the problems and maybe some of the trauma you had in life. But that coach is someone that is going to really help you going forward to develop a plan, and it could be simple things on the basics and fundamentals, but it could also be more advanced topics, financial fitness, how to get a promotion, you name it, but having that coach. Mentors are often the individuals in your life. They're going to come to you and tell you what you need to hear, not necessarily what you want to hear. And those are some of your closest friends. It could be your spouse as well, but someone that's mentoring you along the way. And then certainly teachers. Listen, hopefully you're taking up new hobbies, you're learning new things, whether that's the piano or golf or whatever. And so you have a teacher that can help you improve in that skill set. I also have athletic coaches, right? So when I was in competitive powerlifting, I had a coach help me in some different moves to help with form and function. And now as a retiree, as I'm looking at golf, I have a golf coach focusing on how to get my score improved, not necessarily how to hit the ball further, but how to improve my scoring and how to win. All of those matter. But having that personal board of directors is critical in this step. And that personal board of directors could also be people that you learn from indirectly, right? So there are a lot of folks that I listen to on YouTube who every time they say something, I think, wow, what an incredible tip they put out there. And I'll follow them along. Different podcasts, some folks that I follow on LinkedIn, you name it. But there's an awful lot. And so they influence and help me indirectly. I don't necessarily hire them or reach out to them once a month, but they're on my personal board of directors and I want to consistently hear from them. And here's the other thing I like about it is having a diverse perspective and hearing the opposite opinions so that I can weigh both the pros and the cons, different mindset, maybe having an open mind so that I can change my mind if I hear a better argument as well. Those are all members of my personal board of directors and I'll offer to you if you want to go from novice to pro, you also need to have your own personal board of directors. And finally, number 6, playing with grit. Let's talk about Tom Brady, 2016 Super Bowl 51. New England Patriots are down 28-3. I remember this because I was in Japan at the time, not watching it unfortunately. However, as we know what happened, they were down 28-3 in the third quarter, New England versus Atlanta. And this was an opportunity for everyone to quit and say, man, we really blew this. But Tom Brady and the New England Patriots and Bill Belichick, they had a lot of grit and they staged one of the greatest comebacks of all time. And so that's an example. We got to play with grit as well, realizing that losing and bumps along the road and challenges along the way are going to impact us, but we got to have the grit and the tenacity to work through those. And so if you want to go from novice to professional, you are going to encounter challenges. You're going to encounter bad bosses, challenges in life in general, both personally and professionally, but you want to play with the grit, get better and better, be able to overcome those. And once you overcome that grit, usually it's going to be smooth sailing for a little bit until the next challenge. and you're going to have to play with grit again, okay? While you're playing with the grit, trust yourself, have conviction, and know that you're able to work through this and persevere, right? You're not the first person to encounter this event likely. And so whether it is the fact that you're a single parent and you've got children, you're an older retiree and you've got young children, whatever the challenge is, you've got to overcome that challenge, play with the grit, and have conviction and confidence in yourself. There's a reason they hired you. There's a reason they brought you on the team. Know that. Know that you can get there. Surround yourself with great people and get it done. So those are the 6 steps that I would offer to you. If you follow those and really spend time thinking through those, how does it relate to you both personally and professionally, you will find yourselves quickly going from novice to professional, from employee to owner. All right, everyone. Again, thank you for following me. My YouTube page is focusing on your personal development. Please share your thoughts and ideas in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you and love to know from you, what else should I cover? All right. Thank you very much.